You've been calling yourself lazy for years. You look at your unfinished tasks, your unmade plans, the goals you keep pushing to tomorrow, and you tell yourself the same thing. What is wrong with me? Stop. Because what you've been calling laziness has another name entirely. And once you hear it, you will never speak about yourself the same way again.
Society has a simple rule. If you're not productive, you're lazy. If you're not moving, you're wasting time. If you can't push through, you're weak. But here's what that rule completely ignores. A body that has been under pressure for too long does not need more pushing. It needs rest. And when it doesn't get rest, it takes it, whether you're ready or not. Scientists call it mental fatigue, and it is as real and as physical as a broken bone. Research from the National Institutes of Health confirms that chronic stress physically shrinks the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for motivation, decision-making, and focus. In other words, your brain is not being difficult, it is damaged from carrying too much for too long without enough recovery. That is not laziness. That is survival.
Here's what nobody tells you about exhaustion. It doesn't always look like someone lying in bed, unable to move. Sometimes exhaustion looks like someone who goes to work every day, performs perfectly, comes home and cannot do a single thing more. Sometimes it looks like someone who is always available for everyone else, but can't find the energy to do one thing for themselves. Sometimes it looks like scrolling for hours, not because you're lazy, but because your mind is so overloaded that mindless distraction is the only rest it knows how to take. Sound familiar? Here's the hard truth. The world's highest achievers have hit this wall too. Even Simone Biles, the greatest gymnast of all time, stepped back from the 2020 Olympics, not because she stopped caring, but because her mind and body had nothing left. She said it herself. We have to protect our mind and our body, rather than just going out there and doing what the world wants us to do. If the greatest athlete alive had to stop and recover, what makes you think you're supposed to keep going without rest? Here's what happens when you keep pushing through exhaustion and calling it laziness. You start to believe the lie. You internalize it. You add shame on top of the exhaustion. Now, you're not just tired. You're tired and guilty. Tired and angry at yourself. Tired and convinced that something is fundamentally broken inside you. And that shame, that makes everything worse. Research published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology found that self-criticism after failure or low productivity dramatically increases procrastination and avoidance. Meaning, the more you beat yourself up for not doing enough, the less you are actually able to do. The cruelty of calling yourself lazy is that it creates the very thing it's blaming you for. So what do? First, stop diagnosing yourself with laziness. That label is not helping you. It has never helped you. Remove it. Second, ask yourself an honest question. When did you last truly rest? Not scrolled, not slept out of collapse, but actually, intentionally, guiltlessly rested. For most people, they can't remember. Third, give yourself what you've been giving everyone else. Time, patience, understanding. You would never look at someone you love who was exhausted and call them lazy. Speak to yourself the same way. Because the version of you that feels stuck right now is not broken. They are full. They are at capacity. They have been running on empty for so long that stopping feels like failure. It isn't failure. It's finally listening. You are not lazy. You are someone who has been strong for too long, without permission to stop. Consider this your permission. If this spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And subscribe, because every week we speak the truths that nobody else is saying.